Hello, everybody. My light is reflecting in my glasses, but I need these glasses. I've done a live before and without glasses and with contacts, but I see a lot better with my glasses. So I want to see your comments as they come up. So I'm doing this live from my bedroom because if I didn't, I would not have done it. Honestly, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know how consistent I'm supposed to be, but life happens for me, and I'm just like, okay, I need to get in the basement to get my studio. I have a really good friend, Lisa, and she's helping me with everything in my life in terms of business and Love First and videos and stuff. And she gives me great pointers, and she has me a whole studio set up downstairs with lights and stuff. But I got a cute little light, Periscope. Hold on a minute. Yeah, this little light that you see on Facebook, Periscope, this little light. And that is what I'm using today to do this live. I'm on Periscope on my phone and Facebook on the computer. So today I want to talk about household prayer, and I was supposed to do this so long ago, and I just haven't done it, guys. I wanted to do more research. I wanted to make sure that I had my facts together along with my story. So, your story is very important, and my story is because the Wife Coach and Love First Marriage movement is born out of our story, Todd and myself. So, I'm going through and I'm inviting people and to come on. I have my cup of tea, jasmine tea. So I want to talk to you guys about a household prayer. So many years ago, probably within the 5 years of our marriage, I knew that my marriage was not going the way that it should be. It was just this feeling inside, this gut feeling that this wasn't going well. And I knew it, like I'm like, okay, God, I need for this man to act right. I need for him to treat me better. I need for this marriage thing to be better because I know that it's not great. I know this is something wrong. And I began to pray. And as I began to pray, guess what happened? As I was praying for my good husband to change, Mommy, I'm going to smack a little bit. I see you have joined, so be okay with me smacking. It's something that I don't even realize I'm doing it until I hear that sound. So anyway, I think it's good sound effects. I just want to add some sound effects to my video. Is that okay with you? Okay. But I began to pray for my husband. I began to pray that he change. I began to pray that he, act right and treat me right and all of that stuff. And then, and while I was praying to the Lord, he told me, ma'am, what about you? What are you doing right? What is it that I can change in you? So that was cool. I was all right with that. And he began to change my heart. He began to change my heart towards marriage. He began to actually put a love for marriage inside of me. And I believe that is when I started proclaiming, decreeing, and declaring that divorce was not an option for my marriage. Now, my parents were married. Their vows, my mom took very seriously. To death do us part. My father passed away in May of 2018. And she was still married to him. God bless her soul. So I'm saying all that to say both of us, my husband or me, we did not see the greatest godly marriages growing up. I did see longevity in marriage, however, but I knew that for me, I needed for God to intervene in my marriage. And so I began to pray. And as I began to pray, the Lord really changed my heart. And as he changed my heart, I began to hear him say things about my husband that I did not know, and what I needed to know to really pray for him properly. And not have that selfish prayer like I'm not doing anything wrong. He's doing everything wrong. And God, can you just change him? So I'm saying all of this because we do marriage counseling, and we've been doing it for years. And many times wives are caught up in getting their husbands right. And to the point, caught up so much that they began to forget about God for real, and make their husbands their God. Now, it doesn't mean that they're idolizing their husband, but what it means is that they spend more time on what their husbands are doing or are not doing. They spend more time on that than they do on the creator of life and marriage, the Lord. That's a good point. If you don't have a notebook or journal, you might need to write some of this stuff. You might need to get one, because this stuff is something that I believe changed my life, and it changed my marriage. I had to stop looking at Todd Pickett more than I was looking at God for the answers to what my so-called problems were. Amen. So, in this process, I began to write a prayer. And that's what this whole household prayer thing is all about. It's about an intentional prayer that was birthed out of a need for my marriage to be a godly one, a need for the Lord to intervene, instead of me yakking and fussing. And, y'all who know me, having those mad knots in my stomach, like that was not an option anymore. I was sick of that. I knew that something needed to change. I knew that something needed to be better. And I went to the creator of me to get help. And in that time, the Lord began to speak to me. He began to show me things like, you think you're submitted to Todd, but you're submitted to him based on what you have seen submission is. And you're not submitting to him based on who I created him to be. Now, that is a whole nother story, because Todd Pickett is a special dude. And the Lord needed to show me what was going on inside his head and in his heart and all of that, so that I could submit properly. Yeah, I thought I was doing something, but I wasn't. It wasn't working. So anyway, I wrote this whole prayer, and I took scripture. I'm going to post the prayers. I have 3 sets. It's one prayer, but it's in 3 kind of categories. It's my husband, my children, and myself. So I'm going to post them in the Facebook page. The Wife Coach is a private Facebook page that we have. And if you're not a member already, go on over there, and I will let you in so that you can see and be a part of our tribe. It's a great little tribe of women, of wives and wives-to-be. And I'm going to post the prayers over there, because I really believe that my prayer is a great foundational prayer for everybody. Like, God gave me the scriptures to pray, which pertain to marriage, which pertain to my children, which pertain to me. And I wrote the prayer. I wrote it. We've been married 27 years. I think I don't know if July is going to be 28 or 27. Anyway, my husband knows. That's long somebody knows. Anyway, I wrote this prayer a long time ago, and I prayed it diligently. I know, oh God, I know for 10 years at least. I'm not good with numbers like that, like remembering what year it was and all that stuff. But what I do know is that prayer was the catalyst for all that's going on right now in my house, in my home, and with my children, with my marriage. I know that that prayer is the prayer that kept me married, even though I was decreeing and declaring that divorce was an option. How many of you know that it takes two people for that declaration to manifest? So I believe that the prayer that I prayed for many, many, many years, intentionally gave it to God every single morning. I made sure that God knew that he was important more than anything, that I met him every single morning. I devoted my morning to him, whether it was 20 minutes, whether it was 30 minutes, whether it was 10 minutes. I devoted my every single morning to him. And I gave him my family through this household prayer. And I prayed it diligently without fail. And I absolutely have seen my children get scholarships for school. Well, one is paid free, but it's a loan, but we'll pay it back. Scholarships. Bubba was offered scholarships. He just did not take them. Darian got school, college, little or nothing, and grad school paid for completely, not by us. And my marriage lasted. My husband does absolutely love me like Christ loved the church. He covers me with the water of the word. That kind of stuff. Those kind of scriptures that we all know. We submit one to another. We know which one does what best in our house, and we have wealth and riches are in our household forever, and that's how we handle our affairs with discretion. It's so many things in the prayer, and they're all scriptures, and I see the manifestation of it. I prayed it for 10 years diligently. Then I went back maybe after a year, 5 more years or 2 more years. However the Lord led, I would go back to that prayer and I would pray the heck out of it. Because I was convinced a long time ago that God was for me and that my marriage was bigger than me. I was convinced of that. So how could I be in this marriage? Cars keep going by my window. And not engage the Lord in it. Excuse me. How could I do this marriage and not think and change my perspective about marriage? How could I do that? And how could I stay in my own head with my own thoughts, my own way of life, my own way of doing things, and expecting everybody around me to do what I think only? That's dumb. That is what I call insanity. Sorry for saying dumb. That's what I call insanity. It's not good. So wives, you guys have to get with the Lord. Let him show you your husband. Let him show you who he is and how you need to pray for him. Let the Lord lead your life for real. Like, quit, pretending like God is your Lord and then you don't let him be Lord. Like, there's so many people that do that and they're believers and they love God and all of that, but they still have not fully engaged him in their lives. So this household prayer is exactly that. It takes away every argument. It takes away every attack. It takes away, it helps you know when to fight. It helps you know when the fight is not really yours. It helps you to know that, okay, this is not your issue, but it's his. And the reason why is because God is able to now speak to you without any blockages of the things that I just spoke about. Woo! Okay. So, The reason why this took me so long to do this is because I read this book. Well, I'm reading this book. It's called The Circle Maker by Mark Batterson. He is an author. I've read many books of his. Another one that I'm actually in the process of reading is Whisper, How to Hear the Voice of God. This book is good, The Whisper, because it talks about God's being a whisper, his voice being a whisper. And the reason why is because he wants you to lean in close to him to hear what he has to say. So I need you guys to lean in close to the Lord. I need you to lean in so close to hear what he has to say to you concerning your life. Your life first, and then your husband's, and then your children. Don't put your children before your husband. Put your husband first before your children. I want you to get real close to the Lord so that he can show you how to build a prayer. So because really we are the catalyst for everybody's future. We are the catalyst for everybody's future. We, the wife that God created after Adam was in paradise and everything was great. We still had to be created to help them get to their destiny. So in my mouth is blessing. In my mouth, it's abundance. In my mouth, grace will appear. In my mouth, the atmosphere will change in my house. In my mouth. So quit saying things like this. Well, he's the head and he need to lead, and sitting there waiting like this, twiddling your thumbs for him to lead when it's something that you might need to advance in. It's something that you might need to start, like date night for me. I was twiddling my thumbs for years waiting for my husband to have a date night with me, just to bring it up, to just do it. I had to initiate that. Now it's easy, but back then, people won't think about no date night. I had to do that. God gave it to me, so I had to do it. But I was sitting around twiddling my thumbs for who knows how long, waiting for something to happen that God gave me to do. Oh, I hope this helps. So anyway, we have date nights. We have a lot of them now because our kids are grown. Hallelujah. But we have a lot of date nights. We take time with each other. We intentionally talk to each other, be with each other. Because how many know after the kids are gone, some people don't even know their husbands or their wives after the kids are gone, because we've been spending all our time with the kids. So I was a basketball mom, but I was praying this prayer all through that time. I was not leaving anything by chance. I was absolutely getting before the Lord every morning and talking to him about my life. So anyway, something that I have been having a hard time with, and this live is going to be a little longer than normal. I'm already at 18 minutes. I usually am gone by now because I don't like to keep people long. But this one I'm going to do until it ends. So I hope it's not too long for you. If so, it's always going to be a replay up somewhere for you to catch it. Okay? Other thing I need for y'all to do is share this broadcast. I forget about all that stuff. Please share this broadcast. And if you hear me saying something really good on Periscope and Facebook, I believe, give me some hearts. Let me know that what I'm saying is really good for you. Let me know. It encourages me. I am that type of person. My love language is words of affirmation, so I need that. I would love for you guys to help me out in that way. Share the broadcast and give me some hearts. There's buttons on here for you to share it, and I would love that. So anyway, the Circle Maker said something that was so profound to me, and I really have been challenged with it. I've been asking God about it, and it said this: God is not offended by your bold prayers. He is offended by anything less. He's not offended by things that are crazy, like miraculous things. He wants to do the super crazy for us. He's offended when we don't ask him for bold things. He's offended when we ask him for little stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he's God. He wants to be a miracle making God. So I believe that I was asking, even though the prayer that I prayed for years was all God led, lately I've been like really a chump when it comes to asking for big things. For example, and this may not even sound big to you, we're having a boot camp, a marriage boot camp, April 20th. And Todd and I have come up with a number for 50 couples. Well, it might be 20 right now. So, but I had to have the faith to say, God, I believe you for 50 couples. We believe you for 50 couples. And you know, it's going to grow my faith because I believe God, you know. But I had to get this thing about asking for big things instead of asking for the little mediocre stuff. God is a God of abundance. He is the God of miracles. So don't be afraid to ask him for the really big things because he wants to prove to you that he can do everything that you need. He wants you to be able to stretch. Ask for stuff that's crazy. Ask for, I don't even know. Just ask him for it because he's waiting, sitting there waiting for you to ask whatever it is you need and more. And the angels are waiting, listening for his word so they can go out and do it and help him do it all, okay? So don't be scared to ask God for big things. If your prayers aren't impossible to you, they are insulting to God. That's good. If your prayers aren't impossible to you, they are insulting to God. God wants prayers that require divine intervention, prayers that move him into omnipotent action. Woo. God is waiting to answer your prayers, create miracles in your life, and fulfill your dreams. He's waiting for us to draw a circle in prayer. So that is good because what the circle maker teaches is how to consistently pray, how you draw in a circle around your prayer. So my household prayer, that was me drawing a circle around my husband and my children. And I did it intentionally, deliberately, every day without fail. So I want you guys to really understand something, that really what prayer does is move things. A lot of times I believe women sit and they think things and they think things should be a certain way, but they don't ever say it out loud to the Lord. And then, you know, again, they might be saying it out loud to their husband but who needs to know is the Lord. So I want you guys to get yourselves household prayers. It's never too late. I believe in being intentional. I think God does too. And one of my notes says, make sure you are being specific about what you're asking God for. That's something that people say all the time, but it's really true. What you want will change as time goes on. So what happened with me with my household prayer is from time to time, I had to change something in there. Again, I had to be listening to the Lord in order to do that. I was able to change. When Darren graduated high school and did get the scholarship, then what? What was my prayer supposed to be at that time? Well, then that's when she went through this really traumatic time in her life, and I had to be listening to the Lord in order to pray effectively for her. What happened was I actually let down my guard because I knew that stuff had already been done, and I stopped listening for her. And then stuff started happening. And then I had to get back on it. And I had to ask the Lord, what is it differently that I need to do? What is it I need to pray for her now? And as I began to pray, the Lord gave me comfort in what she was going through. And it was so good to be able to hear the Lord say, and give you comfort pertaining to your baby. It was great. But I had to, kind of get hit by her disruption, the thing that came, I believe, as an orchestrated trial. I had to get hit by that in order to continue on in my household prayer for her. So just know that seasons will change, and you will have to change up your prayer. But as long as you're listening to the Lord, that will happen, and it won't be a big deal. In prayer, I'm looking at my notes. In prayer, you have to be able to discern also what God wants and not what you want or what you think should be happening. When you build a relationship with the Lord, this is something that will happen. But you have to build a relationship with him, and you have to be submitted to him fully. Like, take off all your stuff. Like, that thing that in the Bible that says die to yourself, that thing, that part. When you do that, then you're able to hear from the Lord what he intends. Like, for example, when he told me I wasn't submitted to the way, I was submitted based on me and not submitted based on who he created Todd to be. So I think I'm done. I have a lot more notes. And I'm going to share them. I'm going to listen to the Lord on how to share them. But I do want you to know that writing a household prayer is not hard. If anybody needs my help, I am very willing to do that. Let me know, and I'll help you. Like I said, I'm going to post my prayer, the beginning of it anyway, and you'll be able to see how I did it. I believe in most of it the scriptures are attached, but yeah, I need you to do it. Let's get for real. Let's be believers for real. Let's let the Lord be Lord. Let's employ him. Let's go to him with our stuff. Let us not be mad wives, and let us be wives that are bold warriors for our husbands and our children and our grandchildren. I'm going to have some grandchildren quicker than before because Darian is engaged. She will be married probably within a year, and after that comes grandbabies. So I'm ready to shop for my grandchild. Y'all know I'm ready for that. So anyway, I'm done. Get your household prayers ready, guys. They are the thing that changed my very life. I now have a whole thing of affirmations, I don't even know how many pages. And that will be my next live. I will be talking about affirmations. I will be talking about things that, statements that I decree and declare and make law for my life and for my family and for my marriage. We'll be talking about that next, really soon. Periscope, if I haven't been looking at you, if it looks like I haven't been looking at you, I'm sorry. I try to put my phone right where my computer is so that it looks like I'm looking at everybody. But if I look like I haven't been looking at you, I apologize. But anyway, I appreciate y'all joining me. Like I said, heart me up. Give me some love. Share this broadcast on your timelines. Especially for people who wives who need this, and wives to be who need this, people who are in serious relationships, even if they're not engaged, women need this because we have to understand who we were created to be, that we are the pistol. We are that for our husbands and for our children. We are the blessing, atmosphere changing, mouthpiece warrior beast of a person for our families. We are that. We are who decrees and declares and sits over it and nurtures it. You know, the thing that we are created to do is to nurture. We are that. So I want you guys not to ever be discouraged in marriage, not to ever be discouraged when your husband goes into that cave and stops talking. Don't ever be discouraged by that. Go to God. He will show you exactly what's going on. If he doesn't show you what's going on, he'll show you what to do. This is Ingrid Pickett, and I'm out. Love you guys. Bye, Periscope.